Hello, Servus. Grüß euch. Welcome back to the podcast. He is a bird. I am your host, Sean Shelton. Every guest that we have is special, but this guest is super duper special. I saw him when I was at his first football practice and watched him play receiver as a giant 15-year-old. Now an offensive lineman for the University of Colorado, Valentin Senn. Hey, thanks for coming on, Valentin.
Grüß euch.
Grüß euch. Yeah, Valentin, your story is unbelievable, to be honest. For people who don't know Valentin or people outside of the Raiders community, he's from Tirol. He started playing football when he was 15. He showed up to practice mid-season. We kind of all looked at each other. He was like a 2-meter, 15-year-old kid. Not quite, but up there. And we just stuck him at receiver. And then the next year, I was his offensive coordinator at U18, and we put him at tight end. And then at KM, at the men's level, he moved to tackle. So you've kind of just worked your way in, although it was kind of inevitable because how extremely large you are.
I mean, it kind of came to me because I just kept putting on weight.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And then you became an Under Armour All-American. You played in the Under Armour All-American game. And from that, you got noticed in some various connections that you had in Europe. You signed with the University of Colorado. So your first year just ended. How was your first year in college? You were redshirted, correct?
That's right. Yeah. So it was just incredible. And I mean, back then the Under Armour All-American game kind of already gave me like a small taste of how big football in America is. But just living here and like doing all the stuff is just amazing. Like it's really like I'm living my dream, and
you're living a lot of people's dreams, Valentin.
Yeah, and I try to remind myself of that, and I'm just like grateful every day. And so I'm
Valentin,
like,
you're living my dream. Now that I think about it, you're living my dream. I wanted to play Division I football. It's awesome. But it honestly, if somebody else could live my dream, it'd be you, because you're the nicest guy on earth. Redshirted. Yeah. For people who don't know, that means Valentin was on the team. He practiced with the team. He lifted with the team. And the only thing he really didn't do is dress on Saturdays. And because of that, he does not lose a year of eligibility. Right? And most of the time in the redshirt programs, these guys just lift and get as big and strong as fast as possible. Can you kind of take us through what a normal week for you would look like with practice, school, and all the lifting you're doing? All the lifting you're doing?
Of course. So Monday would start at like, I don't know, getting up at like 5:30 something. Then just like having a workout at 7 and just lifting, then some team meetings and not that many position meetings, because we would always go and try to look at the video of the opponents so we could better like play scout, because we like that group of freshmen, we were like the dummies for the defense basically, which is also, I feel like, a good system, because you just get to play against like the starting defense, which like makes you ready. And yeah, then after the meetings we would have a 2-hour practice, and that like 4 days a week, because like we had a break of lifting on Wednesdays, and because Wednesdays was like the full contact day, so we would like lift Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, have a walkthrough on Thursday, and run through on Friday.
Did you always practice in the mornings?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I always practice in the afternoon at school, because we weren't allowed to miss class or do anything like that, which were always in the morning. So when did you have school? Okay. When did you have class?
So school starts after noon. And I mean, that's up to everybody's schedule.
Sure.
How it looks like, but yeah. So we would have to eat fast, get done, and then just do school till like 5. And after that, you just like get done with the day, but you still gotta like eat and finish your schoolwork, and then I always try to get 8 hours of sleep at least, which has helped me a lot because I think otherwise I would have gotten many more injuries, and so the day is not that long.
No, I think people don't realize how busy student athletes are. It's a
Yeah,
full-time job to be a student athlete. And that's why they're talking about compensating them and why they're already being compensated with stipends and stuff like that, because you cannot earn money outside of what you do because it's already a full-time job.
yeah.
How do the practices compare to your experience with the Raiders, out of curiosity?
Um,
Like from a structure,
it's
intensity?
yeah. So it was not that big of a shock, but it's just like it is obvious that there are just way more like resources, and I mean it's just different because the players, you can like the coaches can demand things from the players in just a whole different level, because basically the players are getting paid by scholarships, and it's not like the coaches have to be thankful for the players to work out because it's their hobby. So
Yeah,
that's a big difference.
absolutely. Everybody on
But
the field
yeah,
is a great
yeah.
football player.
But we would have the same structures, like first some run in these, then team run, pass in these, and then the whole like team pass and the
Gotcha.
situations, and then team. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
And
And
how's your?
conditioning afterwards.
Oh yeah, I'm glad. Nah,
Yeah,
no, 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 no,
it
no, no,
was
no, no.
so hard
Yeah.
being in bowler, being up that high.
If the
It was
Raiders,
really
if
hard at
yeah,
first.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. If the Raiders started doing conditioning after practice, I would retire tomorrow. What's your living situation? Are you living on campus in a freshman dorm? Are you off campus?
Yeah. So the first year is mandatory to be on campus,
Right?
and I lived in
Which is
dorms.
which is normal. Which
Yeah,
is normal.
yeah, and it was a nice experience. I mean, I'm
Any
really looking
shenanigans
forward.
happen when you? Is it
Uh
first of all? Was it only guys or was it co-ed?
no, it was both.
Okay.
Yeah,
The college, when I was in college, it was an only guy dorm because it was a, I don't
yeah.
know, it's a conservative, it's not even a conservative school. I don't know why it was that way. So much nonsense happened. You cannot lock 118-year-olds in the same building.
So I don't know. I don't know if it was the same, but I feel like in Boulder everybody is pretty chill.
Yeah.
And
We'll get to that
so
as well.
yeah, so
Good.
it was
Good.
just, yeah, I wasn't spending that much time in the dorms. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Did you experience any freshman hazing? Did they haze you at all?
There was just like a introductory, like
Did you have to sing
standing
for
up on the
anybody?
chair and singing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
singing. In the during the fall camp, but
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. I
They
think it's
didn't pick me though. Like I think they gave me a rest because I was like coming to a new country, but probably it's gonna come this year. So
it's their loss that they didn't pick you because you got a voice of an
yeah.
angel.
Ah, thanks. Actually,
Good.
we have another alignment, and he studies opera, and
Ah,
he's like my size, just bigger.
he's your
So
size but
that's
bigger. Okay, gotcha.
yeah.
Speaking of your size, how much weight have you put on? What are you at now?
So to you, I was like 310, and now
Kilos. What's 310 in
oh
kilos? Yeah, you
that
got to
should be
get
like
back into it.
145, some around that.
Yeah,
So it's not that. Yeah.
but are you still?
When I started football 5 years ago, it was 100 kilos.
Yeah, no,
So
you've exploded, um, in a good way. In a good way. So Boulder, Colorado. Boulder, Colorado, for people
mhm.
who don't know, is a very, very, very famous college town. And what that usually means when you're a famous college town, it means you're fun for students to study in, which means nightlife and bars and everything like that. So in saying that, how many times have you been arrested?
Not yet. It would be very stressful because of the visa. But
True, true.
The big thing is that boulder is a Thursday school, so all the parties are happening on Thursdays, and
That
we stay
which
there
is
like,
normal though.
yeah,
Thursday is a big college
yeah,
student
yeah,
night. Yeah.
yeah. So we got practices on Friday.
Ooh.
So
So
that's
yeah.
for me. I can't do that. I know that, and I never tried it because I would just like completely like
Yeah. Yeah.
not be able to function.
But how do you enjoy the town or the city as a whole? It seems like a really, really awesome place to study.
It is really nice, and also like being so close to the mountains, which is kind of like the same like home. And I really enjoyed it, and it's a beautiful campus, a lot of Sundays, and a lot of sunny days,
Mm-hmm.
and no, it's just I feel like it's perfect fit,
Yeah.
and yeah.
But how's it feel to be actually in real mountains instead of these puny little mountains over here in Tirol? Boulder is at 1,600 meters compared to Folders, which is at 600 meters. So it's a little
Yeah,
bit different scenario.
it's very different, and I feel it like breathing feels like some. I told it to my mom. It feels like being on a hike all the time when I'm like breathing,
Yeah.
and you breathe in like the mountain air. It's like being up in the mountains all the time. But I feel like the difference from the like bottom level to like the top level where all the peaks are, it's like about the same.
Yeah, it is.
So it
You
so it
just
doesn't
start
seem
so
different.
much
Like
higher.
the mountains are not higher. There's like
Yeah, I know what
you
you're
know what I
saying.
mean. Like
The,
yeah,
the
yeah,
the difference in elevation between the valley and the peaks are the
yeah,
same. It's
yeah,
just you're
yeah,
starting a
yeah,
1,000 meters higher.
yeah. Which was so crazy for me the first time because like it's so flat, and
Yeah.
how can it be already like at 1 mile, like 1600 meters? Like
Yeah.
how is that even possible? Like yeah,
No. No, it's do you hike at all? Do you get on the mountain at all?
no.
You don't have a ton
I
of time.
mean, no, not
Hmm.
yet. Maybe in the summer though.
Hmm. Hmm. Do you like living in Colorado as a whole, like cultural wise? You know, there's some things that are legal in Colorado that aren't legal elsewhere.
um,
Maybe it's not legal for you though. That would be
yeah,
very, very
it's
bad for you.
it,
But
honestly.
how is the culture of Colorado and culture of Boulder? I mean, a college town, you're obviously going to be young and more open minded. But how do you feel? Was it a big cultural adjustment moving from Tirol to Boulder or Colorado?
So that's probably one of the hardest questions because it doesn't really feel different, but it's so different. Like it's so hard to describe.
I can relate.
And
I can relate. But what are some small things, like some observations that you've made? It's like, oh, that's different. I can tell you one of mine. Why you think one of my biggest adjustments moving to Tirol and Europe in general is seeing, uh, and maybe I just never noticed it before, but seeing naked babies run around or
hmm,
like sauna areas being co-ed.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
on a day-to-day basis, I didn't feel like I was out of place or there was a huge cultural difference coming to
Hmm.
Tirol. But then every once in a while, you're like, huh, that way. I remember I was at Aachen and this
Yeah.
dad picked up his daughter by the legs and like she was sitting down and he picked her up and she peed into the bushes in front of everybody. And I remember like
Okay.
I was like tapping Lisa. I was like, hey, what is that? That's and she's like, what? Like that's very, very normal here. It's like, what? Go to the back. Like so little things like that. Do you have any examples like that?
So for Thanksgiving,
Uh-huh.
I stayed at the family, and it was really great. And they were lovely to me, everything, and it was a great meal. Watched some great football, and so he just showed me like all the guns he has. And I mean,
Yeah, that'd be different.
it's a hard, like that's a pretty aggressive example. But I mean,
But I
it
understand.
was like it was like pretty exciting for one part because it was like the first time I held a rifle in my hands, and
Uh-huh.
it was just amazing. And then like he just told me that like nobody knows that he has those guns because he just like um how you say it when you pass it on from family,
Inherit it.
like
Yeah.
yeah, so he inherited that stuff. And I was like, okay, so that's easy.
That's
Like
yeah, it is unfortunately too easy. But yeah, stuff like that where it's like
yeah,
on a day-to-day basis, you're like, oh, this seems pretty similar, and then something
yeah,
happens, you're like, holy shit.
yeah,
Like that's not
yeah.
no, that's a good
I
example.
mean, it was totally safe, and like he was,
Of course,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it just wouldn't happen in Tyrol.
It's would never happen. No, 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 no
uh,
chance.
what are some things you miss about Tyrol after a year being in the States?
Food. I
Yeah?
mean, it's
What food?
I
What
love
type?
I love
Tyrolean
Tirol
food
food,
is delicious, by the way. Very
and
underrated. It's
just
very
it's just like
savory.
yeah, yeah, and it's I feel like it's always like food from home. It's just like different.
What
I don't know
meal?
what it
What
is.
meal are you missing specifically? If you had to pick one.
Um, see, that's so hard. There's so many. I would say like ah, I'd say like Kaspressknödel.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Or Kirchel,
Mhm.
which I already really like. I could go. That list
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So the food, what else do you miss? Besides the people and, your family.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean that's obvious,
Yeah. That's
and
obvious.
yeah. Huh.
If it's just the food, that's good. That's
Yeah.
really good.
I
And the people,
mean,
obviously. But
yeah. I really can't think of too many things because
yeah,
it's like
I get that
it's not
question a
that.
lot.
Yeah.
And food is one thing
Yeah.
that I miss. Not that I miss like American food, because American food is
Hmm.
everything besides like it's stereotypically burgers and barbecuing, but in America
Yeah.
there's everything you can possibly
Yeah.
want to eat and more. But like fast food is something I specifically miss. Specifically Chick-fil-A. And every time I go home,
Okay.
I eat as much Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
as possible. Have you eaten Chick-fil-A?
It's great. It's
Oh,
great.
it's thank you. Because I was
Uh-huh.
checking if there was any Chick-fil-A's in Boulders, and there's
There's
not.
now one in Boulder.
It's in the next
And
city, 12 minutes away
funny
from the
story.
campus. Okay.
So the Cubs like contain some material, and the city of Boulder doesn't. It like is so about like environment
Ah,
that
it's
they
styrofoam.
don't allow. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah. So
So
you have
there's
to
one
drive to, what was it, Lawrence, Colorado or something like that?
Broomfield. I think
Yeah.
Broomfield. Yeah.
Funny.
Which is like I wanted to add that like I feel like Boulder is some kind of like some island inside of Colorado, which is like fruity and very like open and
Most
yeah,
college towns are, because you have a bunch
yeah.
of idealistic college students who are learning new things and super open-minded.
Hmm.
But I think Denver as a whole is just a open-minded state in comparison to some other American
Yeah,
states. That's why I hesitate
yeah,
to say how is it living in America, because
yeah,
your
yeah.
experience living in Colorado is going to be very different than your experience living in Texas, which is different than your experience living in Florida, which is different than experience living in Boston. You
Hmm.
know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
So I
It's just like
hesitate to.
living in a. It's just like living in a different state in Europe, and like
Yeah,
it would be completely different. Like you
exactly.
can't. Yeah,
Exactly. So if you lived 3 hours south in Innsbruck in Valona or whatever, it's going to be a different
yeah,
experience. It's just the states
yeah.
are the same. It's just obviously much more spread out.
Hmm.
Uh, so Chick-fil-A you like, that's great. I'm happy to hear that, because Chick-fil-A would be the one thing that I would bring to Europe if I could. Like 20
Hmm.
things that are like shops are open on Sunday, which is nice,
Oh,
and open 24 hours, which is
yeah.
nice.
It's great. It's
Those
really
are
great.
those are the things I miss.
Yeah,
And Chick-fil-A.
yeah.
How's Taco Bell?
Uh, it's alright.
Really? Okay, interesting. That was my go-to
I'm
late night thing in
okay.
college.
Okay. No, there's like that one sandwich place, and it has really good, like really good chicken sandwiches. and that's like the go-to place.
Where is it?
Like
What is that?
in Boulder.
Is it a
I don't
local
know.
place?
Yeah, it's called
Oh, okay.
Bofors, and
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
it's like a late night. It's like a late night dinner on the Hauptbahnhof.
Gotcha.
It is
Gotcha. Gotcha. How is Chipotle? Do you like Chipotle? This is not
um,
relatable to a lot of people watching right now, but it's relatable to me. So,
I prefer Qdoba.
oh, okay, good. Good. Okay.
Yeah,
Last few questions. How is it going to the dark horse? Huh? Or the
the
sink?
wing place. Oh, great! Tastes so
I
good.
Googled best college bars in Boulder, and
Oh, those are
if you
restaurants though.
yeah, but if you're missing, you could go to the Bohemian Beer Garden and get some German type food.
I was invited there on my official.
Yeah.
They went with me there, so I was eating schnitzel in
How
Bola
was it?
because they thought it was served with rice, I think. So
Ugh.
it was pretty.
And not French fries?
It was not that authentic. Like, how could they?
Unbelievable. 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 Vitan, hey, I appreciate you so much for joining me. I'm so happy to hear that everything is going well and your first freshman year is going well. You have 4 more years of eligibility, which
Hmm.
is super duper exciting.
Yeah.
And so like what is the next 4 years? What's your plan for the next 4 years? I know a lot of guys use that redshirt year and do something with their studies or even get their masters.
Hmm. Hmm.
What's the future besides becoming a starting offensive tackle look like for Valentin Senn?
Um, I want to graduate within like 3.5 years
Mm-hmm.
or 3 years, maybe like make a double major
Yep.
in the business area, uh, operational management and marketing. But I haven't like, I still got like half a year left to like
Yeah, you're
completely
doing all
like
your
decide which
prerequisites,
direction.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and also like the just like the basic business courses like who everybody has to take. And then I'm planning on doing a master's if everything like works out. And I mean, it should be fine, but you never know. So I want to be able to like have a master after I'm done with college. That would be awesome.
That's the best way to do
Yeah,
it. If you
yeah,
redshirt and you play 5
yeah,
years, you're in there 9
yeah.
semesters, try to get as much school done as possible.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
V-Time, thank you so
And
much. Keep going. Sorry.
no, I was just talking about the football standpoint. Like I want to, of course, I want to travel this year and like maybe get some like game experience. But it's
Mhm.
hard because like there
It's
was
really
no
hard.
spring ball, so I couldn't prove myself.
Right.
And next year I want to compete for the starting spot definitely. Like,
But I'm glad you said that though, because I think there's a misconception in a European American football where like maybe some people are reluctant to not play. And actually in the States, when you go to college, it's very, very common not to play. I redshirted
oh
as
yeah,
well. I sat at a year and changed my body, uh,
yeah,
especially at offensive
especially
line.
yeah,
Guys
yeah.
don't play until the redshirt juniors.
No,
Guys don't play until the redshirt sophomores. You know, like
it's like
it's very
our coach
common.
told us like the perfect career for a college offensive lineman is like redshirting, special teams starting, and in the fifth year then All American. Like
Yeah.
that's how he pictured it. And I mean,
And that's why, because some people, I got some questions, not like, hey, is Valentin good enough, but like, hey, what do you think about Vitine going to Colorado? And it's like, well, he's got the physical ability to do it, and they have 3 years to train him to play for 2, and that's a
yeah,
great investment. That's a great investment. They
yeah,
have him for 5 years, and all they need out of him is 2 years, and it was worth
hmm,
the investment. And that's
yeah,
really the way it is at a lot of positions, especially O line.
yeah,
And so if you're in a situation in your club or whatever the case may be, and you're not an immediate player, that's actually very, very normal in American football. It takes
yeah.
time.
Like you can't come in and start like that. No,
No, no, no, no, no, no. No, 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 no. Maybe some
you gotta
DBs
be.
or
Yeah,
receivers or so that are special
yeah,
athletes, but other in
yeah,
the trenches, you're talking about grown ass men, and you need to be a grown ass
yeah.
man too.
Sometimes like people get to play because there's like a need,
Sure,
but
but
it's like
that's not
you
good
can
for the
see the
team
difference
or the
between
player.
like man and like young, man. Like there
Your
is a difference.
body changes from 18 to 23 immensely when all you're doing
Yeah.
is being force fed food and lifting 4 times a week for 4
Yeah.
years. It
Yeah.
changes you. I guarantee it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, Vita, I'm so happy, first of all, to see your face, to hear you're doing well. I'm a huge fan. I will be very, very happy uh, to follow you through your career. Once you start getting on the field, I will be watching every game and yelling at my team, like, come on, V time, every mistake. But I'm
I hope
sure
you
there
don't
won't.
have to yell too
No, that's what I was
much.
about to say. I'm sure there won't be that much. And we'll be in touch. I appreciate it. I'm gonna, I think you have an awesome football story, and I think I know I will be continuing to follow it.
Appreciate
That's
you.
it.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
of course. You're living people's dreams, man. Stay. Yeah, just stay with it. Obviously.
Thanks.
All right, buddy. Hey, take care.
Good.